Welcome to All Batao Finance. We are back this month with a new challenge. Uh, so, so we are joined by Malla sir. Can you explain us what is Awesome April Challenge?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. So, building on last month's challenge, we have three new things that we can do this month. So, we will build on last month's activity. We will introduce a new concept and we will talk about a new habit that you can do. So, let's just start. Last month, we listed our various accounts with their balances. This month, we want to take that one step further. We want to classify those accounts, give them some meaning and purpose in your life and visualize them relatively. So if you do this over months, this is how it will look. And you can see that tracking this month on month, you can see tiny variations in different parts of your what is known as a portfolio. And then you can act accordingly, or maybe just look at it how it varies, but at least have a growing sense of your direction of where you're going and where these accounts are moving. So that is one way of doing this. But you can also look at it in another way, which is the second graph of assigning this money into very concrete goals. And we'll talk about goals: buying a house in the future, retiring, and kids' education. You can look at how your money presently is distributed, serving these three different goals.
Basically, what this graph shows is that the money that I have right now is set out for all these different things. Like most of my money, like in this graph, is set out for my retirement. Uh,
Yes.
s- how do we think about goals? Like I don't have any goals. Like what can you tell
Yes.
me about?
So a goal is again like it's very different for different people. It's part of your journey. A financial goal in particular is basically how the life goals that you have, how are your finances going to help you towards that goal, right? So financially speaking, you need an amount, you need a timeline, and you need some level of commitment that you need to input into like a financial goal. They are important to help you reduce the anxiety you feel right now. Like they basically let you live more in the present with like some help you draw some faith that you will be able to figure things out in the future. Like there is a plan in process. It's basically planning helps you just reduce anxiety. The most common example people talk about is retirement, that you don't have to work to have to draw a salary. Your savings basically become the portfolio and the corpus of money that pays you. So what we want to let's take a specific example of, let's say, a FIRE calculator. FIRE stands for financial independence and early retirement. So what you can see here is that you can input all these numbers, like your present age, the amount of money you already have in the stock market, and how much money you expect to draw as a salary post retirement, and various other assumptions. You can take the defaults here, and this gives you how many years you need to keep saving starting today to get to this figure. And you can make some adjustments to make this sooner or later. And basically this is a very valid financial goal. Like uh, it instills a certain level of discipline, because now you have committed to doing this for the long term. So in this challenge, we want to think of just one long term goal. If you already have a long term goal, uh, maybe flesh it out a little more. See if your present portfolio is aligned in some sense. Like, are you putting as much as you can, or you're invested in the right way? So you can see in this financial calculator, there is a you can vary the stock and bond percentage. So try to see if what you have right now in your portfolio is aligned with what you're assuming here, or if you change it, can you change your portfolio? So just play around with these numbers, but come up with some values. Like it will be uncertain, it will be hard to nail down numbers, but that should not be a reason to delay the activity. Like something is better than nothing. Perfect is the enemy of good, right? So you can't not have an answer. Then finally, we want to instill another habit, which is of tracking your expenses. You don't have to do it for all categories at all times. It's maybe you can take one category, something like eating out or online shopping,
Shopping.
where you look at how much you spend month on month and see if you can optimize it a little more. So for example, if you spend X on Amazon every month, maybe getting a credit card which gives you more cash back, or trying to see if some of that can be bought in bulk, or in maybe in physical stores, and so on, like if you're spending more than what you thought you were. But
Hmm.
uh, you can either use a online website like Mint, but even uh, writing down the transactions on paper for that category month on month will give you a sense of how much you spend in that category. So the concrete steps are: pick a category, of course, then classify all of your purchases as being in that category or not, and if they are, just add them up. Try to see how much you spent maybe last week or last month. Calculate that number. See if that surprises you. See if there is anything there you can do to reduce it or make it more efficient. And if you enjoy this activity, do it for more categories. But maybe start with the category where you spend the most, because that is where there's the biggest headroom to improve your or increase your savings rate.